Hey everybody, so I just wanted to take the time to kind of explain my process for how I write these. I know that other uh, MSM composer YouTubers will have like their own different processes and stuff like that, but I just kind of wanted to explain what mine was. So, like a quick little bit of background was I did band for several years throughout, middle school, high school. I did about a year of it in college. And so what I picked up in terms of like how to read music and how to understand music, a little bit of music theory and such, I got from that. And so I used to play clarinet in high school for the concert band. I used to play bass guitar for the jazz band. I learned several other instruments like saxophone and bassoon, so on and so forth like that. So that's kind of where my music knowledge stems from. And as such, particularly due to my experience with jazz band, is basically how to read chords. So that's one of the biggest things that I look for whenever I'm picking the song. Is I'm kind of looking at the chord progressions, because that's a lot of what I use for manipulating the different parts that I want to change, that I want it to be a little bit different from what the source material is. So whenever I'm picking a song, I'll first see if I can find a version that'll kind of fit the limitations of this. Because as you can see on this staff, there's really only so many notes that we can do. It doesn't go any higher than like a B, which technically you can make it a C if you add like a sharp there, because then it becomes a B sharp. And also as low as you can go is a B flat. So with that kind of understanding in mind for the limitations, I pick my songs based off of that. There's a couple other things, such as if it has like triplets in it, that's pretty much impossible to do unless I'm doing something in like 6/8 time, which this song is. But more often than not, if I can find a song that can fit within those limitations, or I can work around it, then I more often than not can do something like that. So for instance, I picked the Song of Storms here, and the version that I looked for was arranged by a man named Lucas Owens on usescore.com. I just basically was trying to find the basic, the bare bones understanding of the song, like just a simple arrangement that I could work with. I happened to find his arrangement of it that worked really good. So thank you, Lucas Owens, for posting that. And it's pretty true to the original arrangement that Koji Kondo did, just straight up for piano. So what I did with that was I decided that I really wanted the Gats character to be the primary the primary melody, but I didn't want it to just be straight up the da 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 da. I instead wanted to kind of change the rhythmic notation to kind of fit more of like a cool jazz kind of Miles Davis-y feel to it. Coming into this, that's exactly the idea that I had in mind. So you get feelings like this. So instead of da 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 da, it's got this slight little pause here right in the middle. It just gives it kind of that cooler feel to it. It's less on the mark, and because of that, it's got more of a laid-back vibe to it. Kind of in the same token, using the bass, I really wanted to have, the bass guitar being the one that does it. And because of that, he's got a little bit of that rhythmic permutation too. So how the original song is bum 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 da bum bum da, I decided to take that and just tweak it a little bit. So it's just a little bit off target, which gives it that more laid-back feel. And of course, with the drums, since the original song doesn't really have any drums, I went ahead and just kind of looked up some different 6/8 drum patterns and just kind of mixed and mashed them together until I found something that kind of worked along with this. And I really do feel that, along with the bass player, it really does mesh very well. So, with those kind of things in mind, more or less through the majority of the song, I had the same thing going over and over again. Here, of course, like you have the different chords that were necessary for this part of the song. The bass player changes it up. It kind of keeps the same rhythm here, but we just kind of move on through this part here. Oh, another thing for the drums was that I wanted to make sure that I could do stuff like cymbals and toms, because the standard shell beat, he doesn't really have that. He just has basically a hi-hat open and closed. So I use this congle right here. I have drag-on here to be the basic cymbals. And with them, they kind of, together work out to be the full drum kit as needed. So that's what, whenever you see them, that's exactly what they're doing. So the congle is taking the place of the toms, the drag-on is the cymbal. And so from there, I do want to talk about a couple other really fun parts that I worked with. Since I was jazz trained, I really wanted to have kind of more of like a walking bass section, which is something, just basic swing jazz you gotta always have. And so I was really proud of this section here, and the section that came after. Oh, also, as you can see, walking, walking, walking. Once it gets back to the to lead back into that middle section, I always wanted to have that bridge section always be exactly the same. I thought that would just be really kind of tie it together. So that way, no matter whatever I did in the middle for the actual melody parts, this part would always be the same. It would just be just tight every single time. But here in this section where you have more of the stringed area and the melody isn't playing, I really wanted to have that walking bass really go ham, And that part to me is actually my favorite part of this whole song. As much as the as much as the is like this part right here is just sweet for me. I really, really love it. And then one other really important part that I wanted to talk about here was I used this rare scups, because I really had this idea of I really wanted like the sound of rain, going through it. And you'll notice if you pay attention to him in the animation, at the beginning, he's not doing a whole lot of notes, but the further on you go, it starts to increase. And then there we go, starts to get even more. And so I wanted that to be symbolic of like how as the song is going, the storm is getting stronger. And then, of course, we also have these little notes that, like right here. Whoops. It's got these like kind of wetter, fatter sounds. And this is in the part of the song where it's at its most intense right there. It's after that the second walking bass line part. And, that carries on for quite a while. And then, of course, like as you get towards the end of the song, it starts to slowly lose the progression. It gets slower and slower and slower to the very end where you just hear like the last few drips, which is always super fun. And on top of that, I also was using this rare clamble here along with this drag-on in a few different key areas. Let me see if I can find it. I think I might have just passed the part. But basically, I really liked using them for these sections right here that would begin the restarts of the main melody. And I would combine the kind of gong-sounding cymbal sound that the clamble would make, along with the drag-on, who has like a deep concert bass sounding boom to it. and I'd combine them together to basically create like the sound of like a thunder strike. I thought that part was just something that I really wanted to have, and so it's combined together. Kind of adds even more to the storm aspect of the song, and so all together, it created this very well-rounded, like tight, cool jazz mixture, along with sound effects, essentially, which was something that I haven't really done in any of the songs before, but I thought it would just fit perfectly for this. I wanted to make sure that I could get something like that in to really represent the Song of Storms feeling. Yeah, that's basically how I came up with this, and as such, I really hope that you enjoyed kind of learning about what I worked with, and I hope that you continue to see more in the future. If you like this video, go ahead and give the original video a like. Go ahead and share it around to your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'm hoping to do this more often. And so thank you so much.